Hi students, in this video we are going to talk about the syllabus. As you can see, this contains the important information that you are going to need to not only contact myself, but also Alicia, who's going to be the head of our laboratory. So we're going to walk page by page to get you the important information that you need for the first week of this course. So as you can see here, here is my email. This is going to be the easiest way for you to contact me. Our lecture times are going to be from 9:30 till 10:20 on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. This is when we are going to do our problem sets. I do expect you to attend those via Zoom. The Zoom link that you see here is going to be our reoccurring meeting. So if you are ever wanting to know where to find that link, you can find it here on this syllabus. My office hours are going to be immediately after our in-class and problem set lectures. So really, from Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you're going to be able to visit with me for up to almost an hour and a half trying to get the help that you need. Dr. Altimos is going to be the one that heads up our lab. Notice that the lab time is going to be Tuesday, Thursday from 2 to 3:15, and that it has a different Zoom link. So if you're coming to the lecture problem sets, you're going to want to click the top link. If you're going to lab on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you're going to want to click the bottom link. In some cases, I will actually be helping you in the lab, either with study skills, some metacognition, some self-efficacy, and various issues that you might have through your first course here at A&M. Also, this is the link that you're going to click when we are taking our exams, so that way I can proctor you as you are taking those exams. So for many of you, this is your first college course, and that is fantastic. Our syllabi at A&M might be very long, but I want to show you some of the highlights as that we go through. So we're taking 119, and we're actually going to be very, very specific with this. Our course structure is probably a little bit different than what you are used to. We are going to have a asynchronous, that means recorded part of the lecture that you are going to do before the class begins. That means that there will be videos of approximately 30 to 40 minutes in length that you're going to need to watch before we get to our problem sets on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Then for the lab, you are going to have an interactive lab meeting on the Tuesdays and Thursdays. But just like the lecture, you're going to have some lab video portion beforehand. So for a normal week, there's going to be about 2 hours worth of video material. Then there's also going to be about 3 hours of pre and post lab videos that you need to work on. Make sure that you are watching these videos. Not only will we track them to see that you're viewing them, but we're going to ask questions to make sure that you know what you are doing. So finally, let's go down to the required materials for the course. The textbook we will be using is General Chemistry, Atoms First by Young, Vinning, Day, and Botch. This is a fantastic book that we are going to actually have in a 3-hole punched form that you can purchase from our purchasing site, or as many students prefer in this internet age, we can get an ebook. I will show you how to do that from our eCampus video here in our next video. You will also need the 119-120 laboratory manual. That can also be purchased via our ebook. Our ISBNs and our ebook numbers are seen there. The MindTap online homework system goes along with the Vinning book. That is something that we are going to sign up for Tuesday when I meet with you for your first live instruction. Finally, we are going to have the laboratory account for our Hayden McNeil. The instructions for this are going to be taken care of in the laboratory eCampus page, which is tied to the lecture page, and you will take care of that on Thursday. Finally, we need to have what we call our iClicker Reef app. This is how I'm going to do polling and try some of our in-class participation questions that as I'm doing them live in my house, you're going to be able to respond to it via your cell phone as we're going through those problem sessions. Scientific calculator is incredibly important for this class, especially when you're working on the exams and as we are working through our problems, so make sure that you have one at your ready. When it comes to questions for the course, anything pertaining to the lecture, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, content, I am the individual that you're going to want to email, and that is at the Daniel P. Collins email that you saw on the first page. When it comes to the laboratory, you are going to get a teaching assistant for the laboratory that you will meet here in the coming week, and you also can contact Dr. Altimos when it comes to your lab questions. When you're writing emails to us, make sure that you are putting in that this is 119 lecture. Make sure it comes to me. If it is going to the lab, make sure that it's going to Dr. Altimos. One of the things that we really stress here at A&M is that we want to conduct ourselves in the most professional manner that we know how. When you are emailing us, please use your new tamu.edu email account. I know many of you have probably just gotten this in the last week, but it's really important that we understand who these emails are coming from. We're not always sure some of the emails that we get from Gmails or Hotmails or various iPhones. So it's best to use your tamu.edu so that way it gets through our spam filters and we can get you the answers that you need. If it's the first time you're emailing me, please use your first last name. Sometimes you may need your UIN, but specifically definitely tell me what course you're in. The good thing for the summer is that I'm only teaching one course of 119, but I want you guys to get in the habit is that you are starting to have 4 and 5 courses during a normal semester. I want you to be able to identify that very easily. When it comes to emails, I know that you guys are in a day and age when you want immediate responses, and trust me, I will do the best that I can to get you the answers you need as soon as you can. But because of our online time, and especially if it were to happen over the weekends, give me up to about 48 hours for response of an email. This might mean that I have to go and consult with Dr. Altimos or maybe my bosses on what is the best course of action for the response that you're wanting. If you don't hear from me within 48 hours, please email me again. It very well could have gotten caught in a spam filter, and I really want you to get the answers that you need. Once again, no inappropriate language, disruptive behavior. There may be decisions that we make that will upset you, and we understand that. But please consider your behavior online, in the course, and through your email to be beyond reproach at all times. eCampus is going to be the hub of our entire course. As you can see here, we have the link of http://ecampus.tamu.edu. This is going to be everything for us. Not only do we have the announcements, the lecture materials, all of the videos, your mock exams, answer keys are all going to be posted there, as well as the lab. This is going to be so important that I will actually have a second video to show you all the various navigation that we can do on eCampus so you know where everything is. For attendance, it's going to be a little different being online, but we expect you to show up each time that we have those Zoom times. So from our 9:30 to 10:20 on our Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I expect you to attend. You may know a lot of stuff, but the nice part about this is, and the size of our class, we're going to be able to help other students if you are truly understanding of the material. Plus, you might have a question that somebody else asked, and it's a very nice way to start to build our community. When it comes to the laboratory, make sure that you are signing in at 2 o'clock. There may be times that you get done with the lab a little early, but because we've condensed the lab time, please expect to be in that lab for the full 75 minutes as you're going forward. If by some chance you have advance notice of a possible absence due to a family event, an issue with a family member, and especially in this times, a long illness, please email me. It is so important that I know what is going on, especially in your case. Maybe you're having a rough day. I can get you the information that you need. And in some cases, we may be recording our in-class lectures, so that way you don't feel like you're missing the material that way. Make sure that you're sending me the appropriate documentation. At Texas A&M, that typically is going to be some form of a doctor's note. We really want you to get that to us once you are able to return and are healthy. If you miss a lecture, you're responsible for the material. We will do our best to record those problem sessions, and I can send those to you if you are missing those. Biggest thing is if you miss an exam. Makeup exams will have to be given within the calendar week. So if you were to miss an exam date, email me that day, and we will try and get it done within 3 days of the original exam. If you have a longer illness, we will try and work with that. When it comes to the makeup exams, I typically have an extra form of the exam, and it is going to have different questions of similar difficulty to the ones that were given. So you will not get a benefit of the doubt, or you will not get anything easier, but you surely will not be getting an exam that is any harder than the regular scheduled exam. When it comes to the lab, Dr. Altimos will be talking about this even more probably on Thursday, but the biggest thing is sending your lab coordinator and TA the correct information at makeup@chem.tamu.edu in order to request a makeup lab. This is very important that you follow these rules. Punctuality. When we start at 9:30, we will start at 9:30. It may be helping individual things there, but one of the things that I really want to stress to you guys here as you're now going to Texas A&M is that there's not bells like high school. There's not somebody standing in the hall telling you to go to class. You have to show up, and this is one of the major changes as you're going forward. So please arrive on time. If you do arrive late to our online Zoom sessions, mute your mic. When we get a little break, then you can unmute it and say, hey, Dr. Collins, I'm here. I'm sorry. I had to do something. Whatever it might be, we want you there to get all the information that you need possible. Finally, let's talk a little bit about the academic integrity policy. Texas A&M University has one of the strictest academic integrity policies of a civilian institution in the country. I personally am a member of the Aggie Honor System Council. We want everyone to have the same standing and same abilities going into the exam. We will not tolerate any type of cheating or academic dishonesty in my course. Typical ways that this can be done is getting exam answers from previous students, going and asking for help on homework that's not a teaching assistant or an instructor of record. It may be contacting people who have taken an exam previously. At Texas A&M, our Aggie Honor System rules are very, very important to us. One thing that I also want you to understand is that when you're dealing with the lab, you need to be doing that work individually. It might mean that you are getting the data from the TA, but the portions of the pre-lab, your post-lab, your data sheets must be your work. Finally, one of the things that has been very difficult over this online period is what we typically call unauthorized collaboration. Social media, text message, and other forms of passing and receiving information, exams, or any other graded material is unauthorized. So if you are going and attempting to look for exam answers through text message, Facebook, GroupMe, there are websites that try and get exam answers from past exams, such as CHEM. If you were to do this, we are going to turn you into the Aggie Honor System office and go for appropriate sanctions. If you have any questions about this, you are free to ask me about what is acceptable and not acceptable. We are building a community. And the nice part about a community is it is a nice way of passing information. But sometimes that passing of information can cross a line, and I want to be able to show where that line is and what is good communication and bad communication. Another important office here at Texas A&M is our Disability Resources Office. Just like with the Aggie Honor System office, I want every assessment to be a fair fight. And there are students that have disabilities or need other learning opportunities in order to even the playing field. So if you believe that you need time extensions on exams, maybe a quiet study space, maybe you need printed out notes, it could be such things as subtitles on the videos, I want you to contact our Disability Resources Office. This is in the brand new Student Services building. They have a phone number, or you can contact them at disability.tamu.edu. This is so important that as you're starting to go forward, you want to be not only forthcoming with me, and I can be able to give you the appropriate accommodations, but we want this to be comfortable for you so that you can thrive in a very new situation. Finally, the last office I really want to talk about here is the Counseling and Psychological Services. We call it CAPS. This is going to be a very anxious time for you, but I'm really impressed that you are taking this time, you're motivated, and you're wanting to go forward. But then we also know that life outside of the lecture hall can influence and affect your performance inside. You are going to be put in new situations here over the next 3 to 4 months as that you are moving to campus. And we really want to have some place that you are able to talk to and feel that you are getting the correct counseling and psychological services that you need. We want your mental health and your well-being to be at the forefront of this class. The success in the classroom means nothing if you aren't sound, full mind and body. As an instructor, I want to be able to help you with that, but there's only so much I can do, and we have incredible trained counseling and psychological service professionals that can help you out. So if you feel like that you want to contact them there, the website at caps.tamu.edu is there. I highly recommend that if you are starting to feel down, having difficulty concentrating. Maybe you have struggled with depression. Maybe you're worried about someone that you know. It's really important that you get talking about that and get the professional help that you need. So let's talk about the grading policy. The grading policy for this course is going to be out of 800 points. This means that you will take 8 online quizzes that you will see here in a moment, 3 exams, your homework, your class participation from your Monday, Wednesday, and Friday problem sessions, finally the comprehensive final, and then the laboratory is 1/4 of your grade. So this is very important that you work very diligently in your laboratory. As you can see, our letter grade assignments are based off of a 90, 80, 70, 60% threshold. If you would like to get an A in a course, all you got to do for this is get 720 points or more. If you do that, you will get an A, no questions asked. Now, if you were to get something like 719, based off of this, you are probably going to get a B. However, as we go through the course, if there is slight curving that needs to be done or that threshold drops, I will notify that to you as we start to progress through the course. However, it is not a guarantee, and I will only lower the threshold. I will not make them harder. That is for your benefit. So work as hard as you can to get the number that you want. Then if I need to change the threshold based off of certain characteristics throughout the semester, I will do so only in the case of your benefit. So let's talk a little bit about the lecture policies. Let's talk about the exams. There are going to be a total of 4 exams for this 8-week course. 3 75-minute, what we call regular exams, and then the final exam. These exams are listed on the tentative lecture schedule that I'll show you below, and it is going to cover material listed inside of certain chapters. Historically, we are going to have exams about every 2 to 3 chapters. You are responsible for all material inside of those chapters, as well as the previously covered material. If we're starting to get into stoichiometry and we need balancing chemical equations, that is how we are going to cover previously handled material. The exams could be multiple choice. They may be multiple choice with some free response, and they will all take place on eCampus, and I will show you where those are in our eCampus videos. When it comes to our exams, as we've said before, they're on eCampus with 75 minutes. Make sure you have your calculator. Follow all directions on the exam. These will be listed on the exam screen when you open up your exams. Additional announcements may be made during the exam as I am proctoring it via Zoom. You will be given 1 attempt for each exam. That means that during your 75-minute window, you will get the full 75 minutes to complete approximately between 16 and 18 questions. Nice thing about this is the exam grades will be posted pretty much immediately thereafter your exam period. If they are not, I will notify you as to the delay. Once I have everyone take in the exam, we can open up the exam review time, which allows you to see all the answers that you have submitted. I will make sure to post practice exams typically about 3 to 4 days before the actual exams. These are not graded, and they are going to contain problems from past exams. So I will guarantee you that these will not be on the exam, but they're helping you for the format, timing, and testing procedures, so you are not going into your normal exam not having done at least one practice. An important note is how we proctor our exams. We are going to do them via Zoom. This requires 2 devices. One for the exam, which is going to typically be your tablet or computer in which you have the exam pulled up on. And then the other is going to be a camera looking from the side, which is going to be your cell phone. We are going to talk about how to set this up over the coming weeks, so that way you are not going to have any differences when you're taking the actual exam. This is a newer policy, but many of the College of Science courses have gone to this, math, physics, and ourselves. So this is going to help you prepare for some of the exams that you're going to take over your fall semester. So our MindTap homework. MindTap is a very neat homework system that allows you to not only read inside of your digital ebook, but it's going to ask questions as you're going through these readings. It is designed to help you master the material long term. There are interactive videos, animations, activities to really get your mind thinking about what chemistry looks like, not only on the small scale, but on the large scale. How to register is you're going to go to this link here. It will get you the information, and you'll be able to follow the prompts and pay for your subscription as you're going through MindTap. We will go ahead and do that on Tuesday if you haven't done that already. Post-chapter quiz are a small assessment. I know how it feels to go into an exam and feel like the weight of the world is on me. We don't want that. We want smaller quizzes just to see if you're truly getting material. Because if you're not getting material, I don't want that exam to penalize you and it feel like it is beating up on you. So we are going to take 8 quizzes, approximately about once a week, and it is going to be available all day on an assigned day. You are going to be able to get 45 minutes to complete 6 questions. The important part about this is notice that you get fewer number of questions in a much longer time window. This is just helping you walk a little bit, but if all of a sudden you are noticing that you're taking the full 45 minutes, you may have to work a little bit quicker as you're starting to go into your full 75-minute exams. Now we can talk about class participation. This is going to be using our iClicker Reef polling. During classes, I may put up a slide that has a multiple choice question. When I do that, I can open the Reef polling, and no matter where you are, it will pop up on your cell phone and say, what answer would you like to select? So when you come to every problem session or class, have your iClicker Reef app ready to go for every lecture. I'm hoping to do approximately 2 or 3, and I really want you guys to be able to participate because it will help us not only show the misconceptions that we're going to get, but how you guys are going to progress learning over the next 8 weeks. These points are not going to be assigned on if you get them correct. This is the perfect time to make mistakes. We're all going to make them. But as you see, you learn from your mistakes. So if you get a question wrong, but the whole class does, we may be able to explain how that happens. So I want you to attempt all iClicker questions as we go through. Finally, when we get to our comprehensive final, that is going to be our big exam for the entirety of the semester. It's going to focus on the last 2 or 3 chapters, but it will also comprise of past material. That exam period is about 2 hours long, but you can expect an exam that's typically about 50% longer than your normal in-class exams. That is going to be scheduled, I believe, for August 5th. If there are any changes to that, I will let you know. As you can see here at the bottom of this page, here are the 8 quiz dates. Please put these in your calendar. When we get talking on Tuesday, I will show you how I keep track of this information, and that way it will benefit you. Mark those in your calendar because you have all day to get one attempt at 45 minutes to complete those questions. As for the laboratory policies, I'm not going to go through all of these because Dr. Altimos is going to take the time to really discuss this. It's really important that you read through the lab. That way you are going to know what you need to do starting with our Thursday. So finally, One of the things that I really want to highlight in here is our course goals. Let's talk about what it means to have goals. You guys are taking a early class because you are motivated and wanting to go ahead. And I love that. So now what we need to do is talk about our expectations. At the end of this 8 weeks, I expect for us to have all benefited based off of these course goals. We want to make the material relevant to you. So many people will say to chemistry, oh, I'm not going to need that anymore. Oh, that's not real. I will do my best to give you real world explanations about stuff and relevant times that you will see things. One of the biggest things for you is that we're going to increase your math skills. Some of you may have already taken trigonometry, pre-calc, calc. You may have tested out a math, but really we want to go back to the fundamentals of algebra. How many of you remember logarithms? Basic stuff like that. If we can really get those skills, then we can blossom in the other ones. And then it's thinking about critical thinking, problem solving. One of the things is that many of our students just see a process. We don't want to see the process just as well as we want to be able to think through and say, okay, if this process doesn't work, what can I do? We just don't want answers. We want to think methodical, understanding ways on if we can understand problems, not just work through them. One of the new things that's going to be really important for you in our freshman chemistry course is interpreting graphs, mathematical data, and fundamental equations. This is something that we are going to work on throughout the entirety of our 8 weeks. Terminology is a big thing, as well as understanding the structures that we are going to build. Chemistry really has its own terminology and its own language, so we expect for you to learn that material going forward. Finally, one of the big things that I really want to hit in this course, especially with you being first-time in college students, is the last bullet point. Personal learning skills. We have a small group. This means that we can work at your strengths and your weaknesses. On Tuesday, we're going to talk about Bloom's taxonomy, which talks about how you think about thinking. That's where metacognition comes in. How can we help you with time management? And then all of a sudden, you're going to start to go through what we call mindset changes. Instead of being pessimistic of, no, I can't do this, it's, okay, I can do it, but I have to do it this way. This is one of the things that we do very well here at A&M, and we want to get you that information and see you grow and evolve as a student. So now one of the nice parts about this is that we can go to our tentative schedule that you see here. As you can see, I have listed every lecture meeting time for our Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So originally on Monday, we were going to review the syllabus, the logistics in the class, but due to the George Floyd Memorial, we are going to postpone that meeting until Tuesday during the lab time. So on Wednesday, we are going to start and get through a majority of chapter 1. That means on Tuesday, you will be provided the videos for that material. So as you see here, this is the timeline that we are going to cover things. But then that means the day before, you are going to get the online videos that you're expected to watch. So then when you see on Friday, we'll finish up chapter 1 and begin chapter 2. As you can see in a general trend, we are going to finish a chapter about every 2 meeting times. This is a highly accelerated rate. We are taking a 16-week course and putting it in 8 weeks. This should not scare you. This should motivate you to say, I want to get my stuff done and get working and going on. As you can see on June 29th, we have a TBD day. That means to be determined. And the nice part about that is if we by some chance get a little bit behind on certain chapters, that's going to give us kind of a nice middle of the semester break. So that way we can say, hey, have we caught up to everything that we need? If we're on pace and we're doing everything, it may just be a review day. So make sure that even though it says that it's to be determined, we very well could be having something that day. We are going to cover 11 chapters through our 8 weeks of the course. As you can see here, our final exam is tentatively going to be August 4th or 5th. That will be determined by the registrar of the university, and I will be able to give you that information in the future. The days in which we are going to take lab times and focus on lecture material is now going to be seen here at the bottom of the sheet. So on Tuesday, when we're talking about Zoom and email and worksheets and office hours, We're going to do that as well as signing up with all of the various stuff that you need. So Tuesday the 9th, I am actually going to do most of the lab period from 2 to 3:15. That next Tuesday is when we start talking about learning strategies, studying for exams. Many of you have been incredibly successful at the level that you've been in high school. College is a notch harder. So we are going to give you some more tips and tricks, and you guys may not have actually thought about thinking, and I can give you some tips on how that's going to be. As you can see on Tuesday, June 23rd, or Tuesday, July 7th, and finally Tuesday, July 21st, you're going to take your exams during the lab period. So make sure that you have those put on your calendar so you know when your exams are. The last thing I have to show you in here is our laboratory schedule. As we talked about before, the first meeting time on here is Thursday, 6/11. That is when you're going to meet with Dr. Altimos, and she's going to explain all of the various lab procedures. So I know that this video may seem a little overwhelming when it comes to all of the policies that we got talking about. Think about it for the next day or so, and when I see you on Tuesday, if there are any questions that you have about the material that I talk about in the syllabus, ask. Because I'd rather you ask the question early and get the answer, and that way you can prepare for it instead of going along and either forgetting an assignment, forgetting when an exam time is, not remembering when you have lab versus when I see you guys in an extended period. So work really hard. You'll be able to get through this, and you're going to do a great job this semester. Hopefully this has been very helpful with you a little bit to talk about and highlight some of the important things about the syllabus. The next video I'm going to present about is using eCampus and talking about all the important links that you're going to see on our course website. Have a great day.